Hey everyone, it's Miss Research here, and today we're diving into a fascinating yet crucial topic: how historical events are tied to today's political landscape as we approach the 2024 presidential election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. We're talking about the 1776 Commission, Agenda 47, Project 2025, and how they connect to the foundations of American lawmaking and governance. First, I want to say it is very imperative to research and verify who you are voting for and why. What do they stand for? And how may their governance interfere with your individual liberties and civil rights? And if you're okay with that control being handed over to the government, then be solid in your choice. It's your choice, baby. I am not okay with that. And for this reason, I will always be willing to be the problem, okay? Now let's get into it. Let's first talk about historical foundations and their relevance, because I'm going to always stick to the facts, okay? Nothing but the facts. The United States was founded on revolutionary ideals of liberty and equality, but from the very start, those values were often selective. Indentured servitude, racial inequality, and the struggle for civil rights have shaped this nation from its inception in 1776. Let's not forget that the Constitution itself was a compromise between states that relied heavily on indentured servitude and those that didn't. Fast forward to today, and we're still wrestling with how those compromises impact us. The 1776 Commission, launched by Trump in 2020, was aimed at promoting what they called patriotic education, focusing on the nation's triumphs and downplaying darker aspects like indentured servitude and systematic racism. This was in direct response to the 1619 Project, which positions indentured servitude as central to American history, because it is. Trump and many conservatives argue that this kind of teaching divides the country. But does it really? Critics of the 1776 Commission say we can't ignore those dark chapters. What do you think? Is it possible to build unity without acknowledging past injustices? I say, hell no. It ain't possible, dog. But more importantly, how can we understand today's inequalities in justice, in our justice system, in our education system, and healthcare without knowing where they came from? The history of the United States is not only about liberty, it's about the struggle for liberty for all. So, who makes the laws we follow today? Okay, let's go ahead and clear that up. You might wonder who actually makes the laws that govern us. Most laws are introduced by members of Congress, either of the House of Representatives or the Senate. But here's the catch: the president, while influential, cannot directly propose the laws. They rely on lawmakers to push their agendas forward. For example, Trump uses Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation to represent the kinds of policies a future administration might promote. But they still need Congress to pass them, and from my understanding, they are already hitting the floor. Research, boo. Congressional leaders, like the Speaker of the House or the Senate Majority Leader, decide which bills come to the floor for debates. Committees then review, amend, and decide if a bill moves forward for a vote or not. Have you ever thought about how powerful the committees are? They are where most of the real decision making makes or takes place, okay? Before the public even gets to see the debate. So research and verify, please, before y'all come over here. Now, once passed by both chambers of Congress, a bill goes to the president, who can either sign it into law or veto it. Now, Congress can override that veto with a 2/3 majority vote. So when we talk about Agenda 47 or Project 2025, remember, it's not just about the president. Although Agenda 47 is Trump, okay? It's about all these moving parts in our democracy working together or against each other. So let's go ahead and jump into Agenda 47, Trump, and Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation. Let's break down these two major policy blueprints. Agenda 47 is Trump's personal roadmap for a possible second term. It covers everything from voting rights to gender-affirming care and promotes patriotic education while banning progressive topics like critical race theory. Do you think education should focus on instilling patriotism, or should it critically examine the country's history, even when it's uncomfortable? Because I'm learning parts of our history that I never knew. Okay? I'll learn your history before you bring your ass over here. Now, Project 2025, backed by conservative think tanks like the Heritage Foundation, takes a broader approach. It aims to decentralize federal power, roll back LGBTQ plus protections, which I call the bitch Q because them a lot of letters, y'all. Them a lot of letters now. And reshape key institutions like the Department of Education. Now, like Agenda 47, it emphasizes stricter voter ID laws and tighter regulations on mail-in ballots. Are these measures really necessary for election integrity? Or are they a form of modern voter suppression? Okay, go learn your history before you come over here. Now, historically, restrictions like these have disproportionately affected minority voters. After the Civil War, during Reconstruction, Black Americans briefly gained voting rights, only to face suppression during the Jim Crow era. Baby, go learn your history before you come over here. Could Project 2025's policies create a similar dynamic today, especially for marginalized communities? What about education and representation? Education is at the core of these debates. So the 1776 Commission and Agenda 47 seek to rewrite how history is taught in schools by minimizing discussions of indentured servitude, to be socially correct in my terminology, racism, and gender diversity. They promote a traditional narrative that some argue could leave out the experiences of minorities and underrepresented groups. Can we build a better future if we're not fully honest about our past? Like, shouldn't everybody know the full history of the United States of America? What happens when we ignore uncomfortable truths? We pass on a false narrative, which is very Trumpish. We don't want to do that, okay? We want the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We need the truth of the American history. Think about the long fight for access to quality education, okay? From the founding of public schools to the desegregation battles of the 1960s, education has always been about more than just textbooks. It's about access and opportunity. If certain histories are erased, are we truly educating the next generation? Or are we shaping a selective narrative? Sounds very Trumpish to me because he has selective memory, okay? So what does this mean for the 2024 election? So let's bring it full circle to the 2024 election, where we have Donald Trump potentially going head to head with Kamala Harris. I feel like he needs to go ahead and concede before he get his ass whooped. But okay, it is what it is. So Trump's Agenda 47 and Project 2025 propose a vision of a more conservative America, where federal power is limited. We don't need that. We tried it already, okay, which is why we need the federal government to interfere with the states. Education is reframed. We don't need to roll back the times. We need to go forward. And voting is more tightly regulated. Regulated tightly why? On the other hand, we have Kamala Harris and the current administration advocating for expanded voting access and addressing systematic racism and promoting an inclusive historical narrative. Because why would you want to leave out the parts of American history? Right, wrong, or indifferent, include all that shit. So the question is, which direction will America choose? Will we continue to wrestle with the complexities of our history, or lean into a narrative that some feel is more comforting yet incomplete? Do you think the policies of Project 2025 or Agenda 47 will ultimately move us forward or pull us back? I say the latter. So thanks for joining me on this deep dive into history and politics. Don't forget, history isn't just something in the past. It's shaping our future every single day. What historical lessons do you think we should prioritize to make America more inclusive? Let me know what you think in the comments, and stay tuned for more facts with Miss Research. That's me, Top Styles, baby. And look, I want y'all to know, this is going to be the only reply that I'm going to give on anything, because